Welcome back to the Mushroom. We are still here. I don't know if you listened to the last episode, but we're recording it on the same day, me and Andrea. And we're back for a second personality type episode. I want to make this a series because this is like something that me and Andrea love to talk about constantly. And today we want to talk about Myers-Briggs personality types. So this is also like the 16 personalities situation. There's that quiz on 16personalities.com. And we want this episode to also be like fun, lighthearted, and we are not gonna like talk about Myers-Briggs personality types off the top of our heads like we did with astrology, but instead we want to go through the test and together come up with our answers for it, and maybe our personalities have changed since the last time we took this test.
Yeah, last time we took this test was we spent like an hour taking it.
It was like 2 hours because we got so carried away with overanalyzing every question.
Yeah, we got Starbucks and then we just sat in the parking lot and we're like, let's take the personality test again to see if we've changed. And so that's what we're going to do today as well.
And I did change at that point.
You did.
And I had noticed it, I think myself in my personality. I had gotten, and I think your personality changes as you get older anyway, but I've gotten more like in touch with my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be
true.
I'm a bad bitch. I got no feelings.
Yep.
And so I would always score as INTJ in high school, if you know what the personalities
or
are.
INTP.
Or INTP, yes.
Yeah.
I used to score as INTJ earlier in high school. Then my work ethic got more and more
like
more and more less structured.
Like bursts of energy.
Yes. And so I then started scoring as INTP at the end of high school, beginning of university. And then more closer to the end of university, I would score as INFP, which was a shock to me because I always thought that I was cold and aloof and no feelings. But I think just like having been in a relationship at that point, I realized like I do have feelings. And a lot of them, like a lot of my emotional needs weren't being met by my relationship, and I realized like I actually have more emotional needs than I thought. And Andrea, I don't think you've changed since the first time you took the test. Or have you?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think I'm like, oh, maybe I'm like Agatha too, and I'm more in touch with my emotions. But I don't know if I'm like, I don't think I am as in touch with them as you are. Like for me, I think I'm better at communicating them. Because before, when I was like in high school, I would just like kind of like suppress them. Like I'm like, who needs emotions?
Me too, yeah.
We're fine. Except you were like, it's because I don't need them. For me, I was like, just like laughing everything off. Which I mean, I still think I do to this day sometimes.
I mean, looking back at a lot of my notes, like that I would leave on my iPod Touch in high school.
Oh God, yep.
I think I was depressed. Reading them back, like your girl was depressed for real. But I think I had suppressed them because I'm like, and that was kind of like the style back then too.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't need anybody. I'm alone. I got no emotions. Everything is funny, memes, blah 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 blah. No emotions. Run away from emotions. And now I think everyone is going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Like being more open with being vulnerable, and running away from emotions is no longer seen as cool.
Yeah.
It's like you're a child, grow up.
Yeah, basically. It's like stop, go to therapy and talk about your emotions.
Yeah. And I think I grew with the times and I realized like no, your girl's deep.
Your girl is deep.
Your girl got issues. and and my personality type changed, I guess, to reflect that. So we'll see if our personality types change today because we haven't taken this test in a couple years now. Maybe 2 or 3 years even.
I feel like, yeah, because I mean, yeah,
It was
that's
whenever,
how it is.
listen, I remember it was when Toy Story 4 came out and we were talking about it.
Yes, we were talking about that for a really long time.
2019. So it's been 2 years,
2 years.
almost 2 years. So let's go for it. Do you have the link?
Yes, I do. I have it open.
Okay, click, take the test. Let's go.
Let's go.
I wonder if these questions are this in the same order. What's your first
Yeah.
question?
You regularly make new friends?
Okay, yeah. So we can go
Same?
through it together.
Okay, cool.
You regularly make new friends. For me, that's a big disagree.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it
Maybe
depends.
not full disagree. I'll go like because okay, so if you haven't taken the test before, the questions are like a statement and then you have a scale from agree to disagree and there are 7 circles in between. So the middle circle is gray, you got no preference. Then you have on either side of that, you have a small green circle for agree and a small red circle for disagree. And then it gets to a medium circle and then large circle. So I'm going to say medium disagree
Yeah, for
for
me,
you
like,
regularly make new friends.
but I feel like you make friends often.
I
It just,
disagree.
I feel like it depends on, like, like who you're exposed to at the time.
um, but I think the word regularly
It's
means
like
that you kind of go out of your way.
out of your way. See, it's for me, like, then I wouldn't say that I would,
Because I
but
don't
I
think I,
mean,
even like at work and stuff, like I'm exposed to people, but I wouldn't say I'm making friends with them. Like I'll have a like a small talk conversation with somebody in an elevator, but are they my friend? No. And people in the lab that I see every single day, I wouldn't even say that we're friends until like maybe a year in because I don't like maybe not a year, maybe like half a year in because I'm very closed off and I don't like let people I don't see people as like, "Oh, you know me," off of a
yeah,
couple conversations. So I'm hesitant to call them friends.
I don't know. I feel like with the animation industry, you're like constantly seeing like groups of people,
Mhm.
and so then for me, it's just like there'll be the people that I hit it off with and that I talk to the most, and we're like, I consider them like friends, like they're my work friends, and so that's when I would like do like a small agree because I mean I don't regularly go out and be like, well, I mean I can't go out anyways, COVID, but but it just depends on what is around me. So like am I being exposed to like groups of people, then I would say sure, I would like try to make friends with them. But otherwise, if I'm not being exposed to anybody, then oh well.
Okay, then I guess small agree makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, you spend a lot of your free time exploring various random
Yes.
topics that pique your interest.
Yes.
I would say, especially in quarantine, big agree for me.
Big agree. For me, all of the rabbit holes that I can go down off of one thing.
I think even just hobbies, like
Yeah.
I started making candles over quarantine. I started getting into yoga. I have what else did I do? I started a podcast.
Yeah.
um I and also announcement, I'm getting a cat, you know.
Yeah.
So like these are just like hobbies and things that I guess like I get interested in it and then I deep dive into research and I get really excited about it, and then I like
Yes.
start things because I'm like, ooh, and then I looked up like Sphinx cats, and I'm like, oh my god, they're so cute, and you know, I won't have like hair fur all over my house,
Hmm.
and then I deep dive into them, and then I'm like, I want one,
And now you're getting one.
and I'm getting one. So
Yep,
so
that's a
yeah,
big agree for me.
big agree. And
Yep.
you also talked about how you go into deep dives on like
Always.
Japanese swear words.
Forgot what my last. I think my last one was about more about octopus,
Oh
octopi.
yeah. Oh, I've been into the royal family since I started watching The Crown. I watch like so many documentaries on Diana, almost every documentary that's out there. I think I might name my cat Diana. Like
Do it, do it.
my dad
Because for
isn't
me,
a fan because he's like it's a bad luck sort of thing because she'll get hit by a car or something.
no, she's a princess, and then also because in Sailor Moon, the cats Luna and Artemis have a little kitty, and she's gray, and her name is Diana.
No way.
Yes,
Ah, I would love that. I was also looking into like Diana related names. So like she was Lady Diana Spencer in the beginning, right? Before she married Prince Charles. So I'm like, what if I just name her
name her that,
Lady?
Lady
Lady Diana
Diana
Spencer.
Spencer. Make her
Or
royal.
her roommates used to call her Dutch, like short for Duchess, before she even like was dating Prince Charles because she had like this like royal air about her.
Yeah,
So I'm like, what if I name her Duchess, like the cat in Aristocats?
yeah,
But then I think about like my parents saying her name in an accent, so I have to consider that too, so it doesn't sound
true.
weird.
But I like either like Lady, because Lady's
Yeah,
really cute, but Lady Diana Spencer.
that's a really nice name.
That's awesome. Lady Diana. Oh, I was about to say, I'm like, it's almost LSD, but it's not.
LDS.
LDS.
But yeah, so that's a big
Anyways,
agree.
yes. We just spent some more time. Actually, that is what we're doing right now. We're spending free time exploring personality types.
Yeah. I mean, we do also do a deep dive into personality types,
We do.
astrology, that kind of stuff. Like, this
Yeah.
is like our life, so huge agree. If there was an even bigger agree, I would do
Biggest
that.
agree.
Okay, I think this is number 3. We're only on the
Yes.
third
Oh
question.
my god. I'm so sorry.
Seeing other people cry can easily make you feel like you want to cry too. This is, for me, this is a big agree. Especially if it's someone that I love. Like, um,
Yes.
within the last year, we've gone through a lot of crying.
Hmm.
All 3 of us have been through a breakup. Every time that you or Monica would cry, I would cry.
Yeah, we all end up crying, seeing each other cry.
When Monica was broken up with, first, she was the one who first went through a breakup. We went to her house and we consoled her, and she told us about the breakup and she was talking about it and she started crying, and I was crying looking at her crying, but then I couldn't bring attention to the fact that I'm crying because I didn't want to take attention away from her. So I was
Yeah.
just like, tears, but don't make a scene.
I feel like you are more prone to it than me because sometimes, like, I feel like I have to be
The strong
stronger,
one, yeah.
yeah, to help get them through it.
Yeah, and I want to be, but I can't help
Yeah.
it. I'm like, don't make a scene,
Yeah.
make a strong face, don't pay attention to the tears.
So I'd say I'm like small agree.
Okay, next question. You often make a backup plan for a backup plan. Also, big agree. And I would say this is my anxiety. I will think of every option of a situation and then come up with what I will do if that is the case.
Yep.
And I have to work on that because that brings me a lot of stress to prepare for something that probably won't happen.
For
But
me,
my
I just
brain
like,
thinks that it's saving me stress by doing it,
yeah,
but it's not.
I feel like yeah, I just try and see what possibilities could happen And be like, well, if this happens, then that'll happen. And if that happens, then I can do this. And hopefully we're safe.
I'll do that even for conversations with someone. Like if I have like a big conversation coming up with someone,
Yep.
or I'm planning to bring up a topic with somebody,
Yes.
I will be like, okay, line of dialogue from me, and then options A, B, C, D of what they could say. And then what am I going to say to each option?
But then sometimes they don't even say what you thought they were going to
They
say. So
usually
you're like,
don't. So it's like, I spent all this time planning this out for nothing.
I'm going to put like medium agree because sometimes like I just knowingly like be like, okay, you know what? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But in the back of my mind, it's like, but things could go really bad.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, if they go bad, then what can we do? Like,
I've
like
had to consciously
the
make
worst
myself
option.
not think about something coming up, you know?
Yeah.
Consciously, I've had to be like, okay, you're not going to think about it, and what happens happens. I do that
Yeah.
for therapy. Like I try, my brain automatically is like, okay, what are you going to bring up in therapy today? You got to have something to say. But then I'm like, no, I get that. Shut up. Whatever happens in the appointment is going to happen. You're going to bring up whatever needs to be brought up in that moment.
Yep.
And that's like been working for me. So that's what I've been trying to do, but it's hard
Yeah.
to not
It is
think
hard.
of what you're going to do.
Yep.
You usually stay calm even under a lot of pressure.
Yes. I would
Um
say I would say medium agree because I mean, I feel like in most situations like I don't know. I mean, when I like at work or whatever, even if there's like something like crazy going on, I'm
mhm.
just like, okay, just breathe and just take it one step at a time. You can only do the best that you can.
I would do small agree because I feel like what's what's kind of like um weird is that I am calmer under pressure than I am with no pressure.
Yes, because without any like I guess without any actual like knowing consequences,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, like if I don't do this by this time, then that'll happen.
It makes you like calm and focus.
Yeah, it makes me
Yeah.
get the work done faster.
But even like let's say there's a medical emergency, like
Oh, then
someone
I'm super
slices their
calm. If it's
finger. Yes,
I'm just like,
same.
"Oh, your finger's off. It's okay. Let's get a baggie. We'll put in
Exactly.
some
I'm like
ice.
ready for it.
I
I'm
will
like,
carry
all
the
right,
finger."
tourniquet. Let's do this. But then if it's like something where it's like, oh, we're gonna be late for something, then I'm like, let's go. Like, come on, I'm stressed, you know? But if it's
Oh, yeah, see, I don't care.
I'm more stressed in situations where I don't need to be. But when it's I have to get something done because it's a medical emergency or even like tests. I am really good at taking tests, like written tests,
Mhm.
because like I'm really stressed leading up to it and I'm freaking out and my heart is racing. But then I sit down and they say, "Okay, time starts now." And I'm like, "All right." And then it's like almost like slow motion. You read through the question, like, "Okay, I don't know this. Let's go to the next page. Okay, we can write something for this." Like it's almost like the higher the
Yeah.
pressure, the calmer I am.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, for me, like medically, when something happens to me, I'm also very calm.
Hmm.
Like when I snapped my ankle, I was just like, this is fine.
I feel like when something happens to me is when I freak out. When something happens to someone
No,
else is when I'm calm.
for me, I was like completely calm because for me, I'm like, well, it happened. I'm like, it's not that bad. Let's not freak
Your
everybody out.
boat was sticking out of your
I
shin.
know. It was it was going the wrong way. It felt like slush and
Ew.
bone.
Ew. See, if because I sliced my finger one time in the kitchen and I was crying and screaming and bawling, and my dad was like, "Let me look at it," and I screamed at him and pushed him away. But my mom sliced her thumb, and blood was spurting all across the kitchen. And I was like, "All right, let's bandage it up. Let's clean up the blood. It's fine. Everything's good." Like it's worse when it's me.
Oh no. Like I
Because
I
I guess I know someone else will take care of it, so I can just freak out.
no,
I'm giving the burden to someone else.
for me I calm down so that they can help me better.
Hmm.
Because for me, I also finger. I slammed the car door on my finger. Still have the scar. And it was to go into the bank. I realized that I slammed on it. I opened the door, see my finger, and I'm like, ooh, that looks bad.
Oh my
I
god.
pretend like nothing happened. I walk into the bank with my bloody finger. I I withdraw cash. I'm like, okay, I get it. Type in my pin. There's blood on the floor that my
Oh my
finger is
god.
leaving. Then I get the cash, get the receipt, go back into the car with my dad, and I'm like, I just slammed the. I'm like, we need to get stitches or something. Go to the walk-in clinic. My finger is bleeding. He's like, yeah, I thought you slammed the car door.
Why didn't he like open the door and be like, "Hey, like, do you did you slam your finger?"
I don't know.
Maybe because
But
you were being
when
so
it's me,
calm,
I'm
he was
just like,
like, "Oh, everything's fine, probably."
okay, like it happened, but nothing happened. We will get help soon.
I slammed my finger like I was on vacation in Disney World with my family.
Mr. Krabs
Twenty
meal.
2015, yeah. The year that we were going to graduate, and I lifted my pinky nail off of its nail bed, and then my nail like came off, and then I didn't have a nail on my pinky nail. Um and I was scared that I wouldn't have a nail for prom, and I'm like, what am I going to do?
Just glue
But
one.
it grew back eventually, but in the moment I was like crying, freaked out. I didn't want anyone to touch it. When they just wanted to look at it, but I'm like, do not touch it. And I freaked out. um yeah, when it's me, I'm not good.
That's funny. But yeah, anyways, medium agree.
Anyways, small agree for me.
Because then I feel like when somebody puts me on the spot, or if it's like something that I messed up on, and
Mm.
they're like, well, now here are the consequences, then I'm freaking out. Because I'm like, oh, that's my fault. Then I start freaking out, and then I'm like, like I get a shaky core.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. And so that's when I don't stay calm.
I feel like someone who puts like full agree on this, like you got to be like a doctor or something,
Oh yeah.
surgeon, or you're like a psychopath. Like you can murder a body and just be calm.
It's fine. Oh my god. Not that we murdered someone, but the car.
Oh my goodness. I scratched my dad's car. This was years ago. I scratched my dad's car when I was parking it at the mall, and Andrea was with me, and we were just like, okay, what do we do? Oh man, it was such a mission.
I had to calm you down because you're like, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. And then I was like, it's fine, it's fine. I'm like, listen, YouTube will save us. I
Yeah, we had to
Googled.
Google how to get paint off of a car. Yeah, it was a big deal. Maybe I'll tell the story in a podcast episode.
That was fun.
But yeah, next question. We're still on page one.
I know.
At social events, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. I'ma do medium agree, as we've talked about in the last episode.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't know, but for me it depends. That's why I'm like I'm in the middle, but I feel like I'm gonna put meets tiny agree. Or sorry, tiny disagree?
You rarely
Yeah.
introduce yourself.
I'm gonna say tiny disagree. Because it depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm. Depends on the situation with me too. That's why I only put medium agree. Otherwise, I probably would be full agree, but it does depend on the situation.
Yeah.
Depends how comfortable I feel at the event. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next page.
Next page. You
Woo!
prefer. Oh, we're
No.
only 10% done.
Oh my god.
You prefer to completely finish one project before starting another. Complete disagree.
Disagree.
I don't know if I want to do complete or medium disagree, but I am horrible at getting things finished.
I am notorious for starting things and
Yes,
not
I'm
finishing
great
them.
at starting things.
But hey, you're doing well.
So are you, but we could always do better.
You're doing
Should I do medium disagree? I'll do medium disagree. I'll give
do
myself
medium
some credit.
disagree. I will
Yeah.
not give myself some credit because
Come on.
medium disagree.
Yeah, medium disagree. Okay. You are very
Okay.
sentimental. Agree. Full on big agree. I'm very sentimental. I have a
I'm gonna
box of
say,
things from significant moments in my life.
yeah, I feel like I can get attached to items and things, or like things that remind me of places
Even
or experiences.
in the moment, I find myself very often thinking like, "Wow, I'm going to think back to this. Got to take this
Yes.
in."
I'm like, am I a big agree? Yeah, I'd say I'm a big agree. Okay. I think about all like my rat box of things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, next question. You like to use organizing tools like schedules and lists.
Sometimes. I
Um,
mean, it's just for work and stuff, or things that will remind me to do the thing, because otherwise I will forget. Or like I like writing out lists
I
of things for me to do.
see, I take issue with the question because I don't like writing out lists. I have to, or else I will forget.
Yes, it's that it's a need,
Yeah,
because like
it's
you
not a
need to
want.
like for me I need to like physically write something out, because then my mind remembers that I physically wrote it
Yeah.
or something, or I need to see it. And so I'm going to do like a small agree, cuz I mean, I like using them cuz I will forget.
Yeah, I'll do a small agree. I was gonna do small disagree because I actually hate being like put on a schedule
Yeah, I don't like that.
because I like to just like wake up in the morning and be like, what do I feel like getting done today?
Yeah.
And I hate being like, oh, I have to get this done and this and this and this by this time.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of do I put disagree? Because I actually hate it, but I need it.
I know, it's like I need it. Do I like it? Like, do we focus on the phrasing of the question that we like it?
I'm putting disagree.
Okay, I'm putting disagree too, because
Small
it's
disagree.
on small disagree because it's necessary for me to do things.
For
But do I
me, I
like
think
it?
schedules actually make me less motivated to get things done because like with the podcast, I could have said, "Oh, I will upload every 2 weeks on Tuesdays or whatever." But then if I miss like one Tuesday, I will get down on myself like I missed this, like, "Oh, I can just let me just quit the podcast because
Yep.
I failed on getting it done on time." But if I leave myself a very flexible schedule, like no schedule at all, and just get it done whenever you feel like it, then I'll actually get it done eventually.
Yeah.
But I won't be down on myself for not doing it. So I think I agree with putting disagree.
Yes. Even a small mistake can cause you to doubt your overall abilities and knowledge.
mm, see, I feel like before when we did this, I would have said no, but we just had a conversation about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
And so
And
now
so
I'm
that's why I'm
thinking
like, yes?
maybe yes,
Like a little agree,
a
because
little agree.
I mean, sometimes like I don't know, like
We are
it's like
confident in ourselves and our abilities, but I feel like we also have a tendency to be critical of ourselves and say that we could do better, even though we
yeah,
put in 100% effort. To us, it doesn't feel
yeah.
like 100%.
Because I mean, with this, because like like we tend to work in like spurts.
Yeah.
So then when you've put in like all that time during that spurt, and you're like, okay, this is good, I'm good with it, but then later you see that there's like, oh, you made a spelling error here or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
there, then you're like, oh well, if I just like
If I had just started the spurt of energy like an hour
Yeah,
earlier, I could have
and
caught
I
it.
would have caught it. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
that's where I feel small agree.
I know.
But then I'm like, but overall, it looks good and I did great. Like, like most of
Yeah,
it, like
exactly.
80% of it or like 90% of it looks good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
small
think
agree.
small agree. Yeah. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation.
Yeah.
Big or medium disagree. I don't know. I'll put medium disagree because I've worked hard on fighting some of that like childhood insecurity and scaredness to get to where I am now. So
I'm
I'll
gonna
put medium
say
disagree.
I'm gonna say I don't know if like I should do medium agree. I feel like medium agree because I mean I don't, it depends on the person's like aura, you know?
And it depends what kind of interesting it is. Like, is it interesting like, oh, they have like a cool hat? Or is it interesting like they're cute and I want to flirt with them?
Yeah, because if it's like I don't know, depends. Because sometimes I just think like for me it's like the person's like vibe that they give
Hmm.
off, and I'm like, ooh, I want to talk to them because they give off like a cool vibe.
But is it someone that you like, you're, I don't know, like in a bar and you're like, ooh, this guy's hot, let me go talk to him? Because I would not have, I don't think I would have the courage to do that. But if it's like if it's like a wedding and some girl has a really nice dress, I'll be like, hey, I like your dress, where'd you get it?
Yeah,
Then I do have the confidence for that.
I feel like it's different. Depends on the situation.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe small agree.
And I'm medium disagree.
You are not too interested in discussing various interpretations, and no, that's a disagree.
This is big disagree for me. I
Yeah.
love. Wait, okay, finish reading the question because we didn't
Oh
even
yeah,
tell
sorry.
the listener like what we're saying.
Okay, let me read it again. You are not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analysis of creative works. That's a
Big
big
disagree. I am
disagree.
way interested.
Yep.
I can talk about a movie for hours analyzing like its
Yeah.
impact, analyzing its deeper meanings. Like I love talking to people that have different um interpretations of something and then we
Yeah.
can like go on and on about it.
Yeah. So big disagree.
Big disagree. Okay,
We're
next page.
20% done.
20% done. You are more
Woo.
inclined to follow your head than your heart. Mm,
Agree.
small disagree.
For me, I feel like I don't know. Because I mean, like there is like for me, it's more I don't know. Maybe this is my Capricorn
Definitely.
that
Definitely.
I'm like practical.
And that's why I go to you for advice because I need to be led away from my heart sometimes.
I'm gonna do like I don't know, medium agree.
Hmm. I have a small disagree, and I think that's thanks to therapy. I can be like um, thinking more rationally. Like I'm thinking about like let's say you are talking to this guy and you know he's a little bit toxic, but you still really want to talk to him and see where it goes. I am way more likely than you to keep going with it.
Yeah. I mean, mm, I don't know. Cause I'm like, it depends. Like
What kind of
what am
toxic?
I? Yeah, what kind of toxic and how much is it? Like, is it really worth the toxicity? You know?
Hmm. At that point, yeah, you have to listen to your heart and be like, how much do I really want this?
Yeah. Like, how much can you accept that this person is that way?
Yeah. And how willing are you to be open to it ending badly?
Yeah.
Because let's say like it's almost like 100% chance that it'll end badly.
Then I'd be like, no.
I'd be like, let me still do it. so I
I would,
can experience it.
yeah, like I would let it go or try not to let it go too far.
Yeah.
Like, just for like fun.
So that's why I'm small disagree because I would more likely follow my heart, but I think with therapy I have been trying to make healthier choices for myself. And not talking about like food, talking about like love life.
Yeah.
Healthy love life choices.
Next
Next
question.
question.
Oh, am I reading? Okay. Usually prefer usually prefer just doing what you feel like at any given moment instead of planning a particular daily routine. Yes.
Yes, big agree. I mean, yeah, there's things I have to get done, but do I feel like getting them done that day?
That's my that's my thought process.
I love waking up and just being like, what do I feel like doing today?
Yeah. Like I'll have like a very loose idea in my head of things I
Hmm.
want to get done, but I'm also not going to hold myself to it.
Exactly.
Like
And
I'm
that's
just gonna
why
be
I'll
like,
make
we'll see.
lists so that when I wake up in the morning, I can make a list and be like, and I have a list from the day before, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, okay, which of these things can I realistically get done today? And
Yeah.
I'll like start one of them, and then if I don't get to the rest, then it's like, oh well.
Yeah. Just like, well, we tried. We
Yeah.
did something else instead. So,
Something more
really,
fun, so the day
yeah.
wasn't wasted. Okay, next question. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. Um,
Agree.
Rarely
Depends on
worry.
the person.
Depends on the person and depends on how big of a fool I made of myself.
Yeah, because sometimes you say things and you're just like, oh God, I should not. Why
Yeah,
did that come
yeah,
out of my mouth? And that sounded so stupid.
yeah. Uh, now like, see, I'm like in the middle, but I don't know which way I more lean towards.
I'm going to say
Depends on
I
my mood
agree.
too. Hmm.
Going to,
Do I
for me,
rarely
it's like,
worry about making a good
for
impression
me,
on
it's
people?
like, I mean, whenever I think back on it, I try to think about it from like a bigger picture and like,
Yes, me too.
instead of focusing on like the small stupid one thing that you said, I'm like overall, minus that little horrible thing I said,
Hmm.
I'm like I think it was good. And so for me, that's why I say agree because I'm like, okay, well, maybe we tripped up a few times sorry, maybe I tripped up a few times, but overall I think it was fine. Unless if I have this like feeling in my or like we just didn't vibe,
Yeah, but does that kind of go with the
right?
phrase? Like worrying about it, does that mean like worrying whether it went good or whether it went bad? Because it sounds like you still think about it. Because
Right? Cuz
I'm
I'm
sure
like,
there's people who don't think about it at all.
yeah, but who doesn't think about
That's why
whether
I'm leaning
they
towards small
didn't?
disagree. Yeah, I
Cuz
think
for
I'll put
me,
small disagree.
cuz I don't worry, cuz for me that's also like part of the sentence too. It says you rarely worry about. But for me it's not worrying, it's just reflecting.
Okay, yeah, good point. Rarely worry about weather.
Yeah.
But it would have been different if they phrased it like you rarely worry about if you made a bad impression on people. But they said whether you made a good impression.
I know. This is what's confusing.
So I'll put small disagree because I do sometimes worry, but I will convince myself that it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I'm going to put for the most part I'm just going to put little agree
Hmm.
cuz I mean most of the time I'm like, "Oh, that was fine."
Hmm.
Like, I don't think about it.
Next question. You enjoy participating in group activities.
Are we competing? Yes.
Medium disagree.
I'm gonna
I hate
put
it. I hate even if we're not competing. Even if we're like, let's say I'm like doing TA training on Zoom and then you get put into a breakout room and it's like, okay, talk about what you would do in this situation with a student. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking in this group. I hate it so much. So medium, mm,
I'm
big
gonna put
disagree. Big
it
disagree.
depends. It also depends on my mood because then I also hated that sometimes when I was in like lectures
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like I just want to sit here and do nothing. I just want the attendance mark. That's it. And other times I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. It's a chance to see who's around me." And so I'm going to say medium agree because then other times I'm like, "Stop.
I
I'm
mean,
just
even if
here
it's
to eat
like a
popcorn."
gym class, I'm like, no.
If it's competitive and we're winning something,
What
I'm
if it's a
kind of
yoga
bored.
class?
A yoga class? I mean, I yeah.
I've never done one in person, but I really just would rather do yoga by myself in my room.
No, I've done yoga classes and like oh, there was a weird class I took once. It was like I thought it was supposed to be like a fun kind of dance class, and I guess it was, but it was very like we had to like get more intimate with each other and we were doing like weird dances and we were all like I don't know what room I stepped into,
What?
but it was a trip. And that I felt like for me after that class I was like we are never coming here again. To my friends I was like we are not ever doing that again.
That's so strange.
Yeah, she also like she got like the teacher who led it um got everybody's like names and like email addresses too. Like she's just like, we're gonna become one big family and
Ew,
we're
no.
like like it was
No, thank you. That would
yeah,
be my worst nightmare. No.
yeah.
That's
And
why I'm doing
so
yoga alone in my room forever. Thank you.
yeah, but I did a yoga class that was in a group and that was nice.
Mm-mm.
But that weird dance, that was too much. I'm like, no, no, thank you.
Uh,
Anyways, next question. You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation of the ending?
yeah, I'm gonna go small
Depends.
agree because I like to then discuss with people to see what their interpretations were, and then
Yeah,
we can like have debates about it or whatever, discussions.
but
But um, not I like I'm not gonna agree too much because I do still like a full story.
yeah, because if it's so vague or just like it feels like they just dropped you off and
Mm-hmm.
left you with no conclusion to why you spent an hour and a half to 2 hours or whatever watching this movie, then I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
No, you can't leave me like this.
yeah, exactly. So then I'll like sometimes I'll like Google like what is the
Yeah,
supposed or like intended meaning of this
yeah,
movie, and then I'll decide on my own if like I accept it or
yeah.
not.
Like I'll like view like the Reddit sub threads and like
Yeah, yeah,
all of
yeah.
that and like all the comments and people being like there are some people who are like, yeah, I love that it was so open and this is my interpretation of, and I'm like, mm, I don't like that. So
That's
I'm gonna
why
say
small agree.
small agree. Your happiness comes from more from helping others accomplish things than your own accomplishments.
Huh.
No.
Like immediately no. um
I mean, it says your happiness. Like I wouldn't say that my happiness is linked to helping others accomplish things.
See, I can't even think of like a context that this would be in.
right?
Like as a TA, I guess, like am I more excited when my students get a high mark on a test that if I were to write the test and get a high mark? Like that also feels like an accomplishment of mine because I helped push them towards that
Yeah.
grade.
And that's like, like me with my work, like we all work together to make this show. And I am really happy about that.
Mhm.
But, I feel like I would be probably more leaning on happier if I were to make my own thing.
Mhm. Or maybe think about it like if let's say I'm in the lab and Sarah asks me to like help her, I don't know, with some experiment, and then her experiment goes well and she presents at a conference and she wins or something. Would I be happier than if I won at a conference because of an experiment that I did by myself? I don't know. Like I'm proud of her and I'm glad that I helped her get there in a small way. But am I more happy than if I did it myself? No.
That's what I said. No.
So I think small disagree, but I still enjoy like helping
Helping
others.
others. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it gives me more happiness than if I did it myself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Next page. We're
Next
30%
page.
done.
30%. Oh my goodness. You're interested in so many things that you find it difficult to choose what to try next. Yeah.
I say
Oh, I
small
mean,
agree because I still decide what to choose next.
yeah, because I mean, for me, it's more like what what's capturing my attention at the moment,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, but I also want to do this, but I also want to do that, and so then that is kind of like, what do I do?
Yeah, so small agree because I do have a lot
Yeah,
of things that I'm interested in, but not like so difficult that I don't even know
that I
where to start.
yeah,
Because I
like
start things, I just don't know where to
yeah,
continue.
I'll just try it. You're prone to worrying that things will take a turn for the worse.
uh medium agree. And that goes back to my good friend anxiety, but it's not big agree because therapy.
Yeah, I mean, I always prepare for the worst,
but hope for the best.
but hope for the best. So I'm gonna say yes, agree, small.
You avoid leadership roles in group settings. Ooh,
Depends.
that also
I mean,
depends.
I would say I small agree.
I wouldn't say I avoid leadership roles because it all depends on like the experience that all my group members have. And if I feel like they have more experience than me, then I'll follow in their lead. But if I feel like no one else is more experienced than me, then I'll take control.
Yeah, it depends. Because I mean, when I think about group projects in school,
Hmm.
I'm like, give me whatever role you want. I will do it. It'll get done. That's it.
Yeah, but you're not going to start like directing other people.
No, unless if there's absolutely like nobody
Yeah.
at will, or like if they're just like we're not getting anywhere, then I take a more active role, and I'm like, okay, guys, let's like get this rolling because I just want to get this done.
Hmm. So I would
But
say small agree for me because I agree with what you're saying.
yeah, because it really depends on
I'll
what's
avoid
going
taking
on.
leadership roles, but I won't avoid it like too much. Like I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it if no one else does it.
yeah,
I won't like run away from it.
yeah, exactly.
Next question.
Okay.
You are definitely not an artistic type of person. Definitely not an artistic type of person. Definitely medium disagree. Cuz there are like art like I'm creative, but I know that there are people who are more creative than me, so I will usually like defer to them. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to like think in my head what agreeing or disagreeing meant with definitely not. And I was like, wait. I think I'm gonna do medium. Disagree?
Disagree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was
Disagree.
like, what is it?
Because you are artistic.
Yeah, I think we're both artistic and creative. We both like
Yeah,
to be making things.
I agree. And that's why I disagree for this question.
I know, see, that's what's confusing. That's why my brain was like, what does it mean?
Yeah, I would never say that I'm definitely not artistic. Like,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I wouldn't. No.
You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on rationality and less on their feelings? Disagree, but I don't know what size.
Less on their feelings?
I'm gonna do small disagree. Because I think being rational can only get you so far, but you have to have empathy in order to make the world a better place. You have to like have feelings for other humans and try to put yourself in their place. And if you feel like something is off, then something is off and you should
Yeah, but then
stand up for that.
I think about the crazy radicals who believe in like, their feeling is that the world would be a better place if, we got rid of these people or,
True.
like it can go in so many ways. And so I'm like, at least from a rational standpoint, you can kind of there's a logic in it.
Yeah. I mean,
And so
like all
that's
these
why I
anti vaxxers
say,
and stuff, like, I feel like that sort of thing, you can also fight with feelings though, because you have your science and whatever, but you have to trust the sources that it's coming from. I don't
yeah,
know. I feel like feelings have a lot bigger role to play than rationality
I don't
in
know,
making
but
the world a better place on
sometimes I
both
feel like,
sides.
yeah, sometimes I feel like people get swept up in their feelings
Hmm.
instead of the rational, and then
I
things get
feel like
really messed
they
up.
think that they're being rational, but really they're fighting about their feelings. But I feel like if people were more in touch with their feelings, they would realize that they're being irrational.
But really, that means it goes back to rational. And that's why, for me, I say small agree, because then I also think feelings are important.
Hmm.
Because you do, like you were saying, people do have to be empathetic about others in order to make a change in the world.
Because I think, like, let's look at like the topic of abortion, right?
Hmm.
Controversial. People disagree on both sides. But if you purely look at the rational argument, it's like, okay, a fetus is not considered a human by the Supreme Court of Canada until it's been born. So abortion is not murder legally. But when you look at the science, like it's still like alive technically,
Yeah.
but it can't live on its own outside of the mother. So then, is it murder? Like, even just the definition of life in biology is very controversial. So then, you can't necessarily call it murder if even biologists disagree on what is considered life. So then, I think the better argument would be not the rational argument, but the feeling argument. As in, like, do you want to kill a fetus or do you want to deprive women of their right to choose about their own body? Like, I feel like that is very feeling oriented versus the rational argument. The rational argument doesn't fit in that context, I don't think.
Yeah. I feel like the rational argument, just like, I mean, because it is our own like species and our own, like,
Hmm.
we're so closely tied to it. It definitely is more emotionally charged because like there are so many feelings, just even thinking of a baby, and we're already like, I feel like, you I mean, automatically I think of a baby, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And
But then if you
yeah,
think about like you're in a situation where you really don't want to have a baby, but the government is not letting you decide on your own whether to have it or not, that's terrifying. That's such a
that is
scary
terrifying.
scary situation to be in where someone else has control over what you do with your body.
Yeah, see, that is just messed up.
And that's
Because
that's
then,
the argument that convinces me to be
yeah,
pro-choice.
but then
The rational
also like,
arguments don't like convince me as much as the feeling arguments.
but then to me, like the rational, like, I guess like logic is to just let people, like, to just let women do what they want with their bodies.
Yeah. But is that rational or is that
Is that rational? Who
yeah.
knows? But for me, it just seems like logic, like that it shouldn't be like, you're not that woman. You're not having the baby.
Exactly.
You're not the
Yeah.
one going through all the biological changes. And like it could also be that like the baby came from like a bad place, like emotionally,
Yeah,
mentally,
or
physically.
yeah, or they have some kind of like congenital defect that is going to make life very difficult for them. Then
Yeah.
in that situation, if you aren't letting women have freedom of choice and you're forcing them to have babies that they're not ready for, then you should really put money into like their health care and like disability programs for
Yeah.
children, like foster care, like really put money into those institutions if you're not going to let women decide.
Yeah.
But a lot of these countries that aren't letting women decide also aren't putting money into these programs. So then it's a lose
Yep.
lose.
And they just leave the women on their own,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And then you have like postpartum depression, you have
Yep.
um, women like killing their babies, like,
Yep.
and then they end up uh, like suicides are
Mhm.
increased. So it's just like a lose lose. So you have to have like empathy in those situations or I mean rationality I think also goes into that. Like
See?
if you are going to deprive them of choice, then you have to be rational and support them
Yeah.
on the other end.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they both go hand in hand,
Yeah.
but that's why I'm on little agree.
And I'm
Because
little
I feel
disagree.
like because I feel like once you simmer down from those feelings, then you can put in a rational choice.
Yeah, and I feel like rationality comes from not not avoiding your feelings but
But
looking deeper into
yeah,
the feelings.
exactly.
You're like, why am I feeling this way? How can I support people who are feeling a certain way? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. They go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah.
But
That's why
this
this
is a good
question's hard.
question. Yeah.
uh you prefer to do your chores before allowing yourself to relax. Medium disagree. I was going to put big
Ye-
disagree, but
Me too. But sometimes I just feel like I gotta like do something. Like, like this morning I woke up and I kind of cleaned my room a little bit. And I was like, okay, now we're good. Now I can go eat and have a cup of coffee and whatever. Just because it felt like, well, I mean, my room was starting to get really messy. And to like the point where it was disturbing my relaxation. And so it's like, I know I won't be able to relax unless this is fixed. So,
yeah, so that's why I didn't go full disagree.
yeah. Okay, anyways.
Next page. 40% done.
Oh my god.
And we're an hour in.
Yeah, this is why the quiz last time took us 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay. You enjoy watching people argue. That depends. Is it a heated conversation or is it just a like friendly debate?
Yeah, because I would say for the most part, yes, because I feel like, or at least people in my life don't argue badly.
But
It's
let's say
mostly
if it's even
lighthearted,
like the presidential debates. Like I hate watching that cuz I just get cringe.
but it's fun.
No. Okay, I'm going to put small disagree.
I'm gonna put small agree,
I just get
depending on
like
the context.
secondhand just like cringe, you know? Like I'm just like, just agree.
Oh no, for me, I'm just like, wow, I cannot believe they're saying this live.
Yeah, that's why it's cringe to me.
It's funny though,
Mm.
and quotable later.
Okay, you tend to avoid drawing attention to yourself.
Disagree.
I think if you listen to our previous episode with Andrea talking about being an Aquarius rising, you know that she's a big disagree on this question.
But I feel like you also, in your own way, draw attention to yourself.
Yes, because as you'll hear in our previous episode too,
Yep.
I'm an Aquarius sun and Scorpio rising.
So I'm gonna
So
say medium disagree. Wait, sorry. Sorry, I tend to avoid.
tend to
Wait.
avoid. So
Yes.
disagree.
Yes.
So you're medium.
Yeah, I would say medium disagree.
I'll do tend to avoid drawing attention. See, this is hard because like in a group setting, I would prefer to not not stand out. But once I'm standing out, I want to really stand out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like if I'm giving a presentation, I'll wear like a red blazer, you know?
Yeah.
But if I'm like in a meeting and everyone's talking, I'm not talking.
Oh god, I hate group phone calls or like group meetings because, well, I mean, first of all, when one person's talking or you both talk at the same time, you cannot hear each other. You drown each other out. And I hate that because then for me, I'm like, okay, go. And then they're like, oh no, you go. And then we're like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. On Zoom it's like, "Oh, sorry. No. No, sorry, you go.
yeah.
No. No, you go first. No. Okay, you go."
I hate that. And then also because like the screen like fills up to just your face or whatever, like, it focuses on the person who's talking.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I don't want to be because this is just a meeting and it's 4 o'clock. I don't care. No, stop looking at me.
Yeah, so
But
I guess I'll put a small disagree. I
but
like to
then
stand out once I like when I want to stand out.
yeah, but then like in person, I'm more wanting to because then at least I'm physically there.
Mhm.
But I still think, okay, I'm gonna switch it to small disagree.
Your mood can change very quickly.
No,
Mm,
I'm gonna say medium disagree.
I'm
I
gonna
feel like
say small disagree.
it takes a lot for me to get moody, I guess. I
Usually,
don't
if I
know.
wake up and I'm like in a bad mood, I'm usually in a bad mood throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then if I'm in a good mood, I'm usually in a good mood throughout the day.
Yeah, like when whenever we wake up after like a night or something and you wake up in a bad mood and it's like, "Oh no, we will stay out of the way."
Well, usually I'm like hungover if it's with you.
Yep. Yep.
So then I'm just like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
You lose patience with people who are not as efficient as you. Uh,
It
I'm gonna say
depends.
small disagree. I think I'm pretty patient, especially like in the lab and stuff, because I recognize that a lot of people are still learning. So it's
Yeah,
important to just be patient and help them out.
but I get mad when people like, they're not as efficient as me and they don't care. They're not
Uh,
they're not willing to learn.
okay, that's
And
frustrating.
that makes me mad. Because if they're not as efficient and they just don't care, even though I'm trying to help them,
Uh huh.
that mm-mm.
So what are you putting?
I don't know. I feel like, but I would say yes if if they just haven't been paying attention after several times of helping them. Then I'm like, and if I've tried it in like different ways, like like
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like maybe not everybody understands the same way that I do, so let me try it in different ways for them.
But
And
what
they,
if it's um more like you and somebody else have a deadline to get something done, and you get everything done to that point, and the group is like behind on whatever project because someone is like taking their sweet time on whatever they have to do.
I mean, that's usually me, but if they are going to make us like the group as a collective late or have some sort of penalty or whatever because of them, then I'll be mad.
Okay. But it doesn't sound like you are losing patience just because they're inefficient.
No, it's not because they're yeah, it just I don't think it's efficiency based for me.
Yeah, it
So
sounds
I'm gonna
more
say
like respect based.
yeah, because otherwise, like, that just means you don't have respect for the people that you're working with, you know?
Yeah. So I think that would be like a different question. So for this
Yeah.
question, I think you're probably like a disagree.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry, this next question. You can read it.
You often end up doing things at the last possible moment.
My life. My life since I've been born. Even
I'll
when I was
go
born.
I'll go small agree cuz I've been trying to do better. Hasn't been really working, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't even give myself the credit.
no, no you can't.
I can't.
You got to be big agree.
I have to be bigger green. That's just my life. Listen, I was supposed to be born earlier. I came
Really?
out later. Yeah.
Oh my god.
By like a few days. Because I was like, no way am I going to be a 1998 baby. And so then I came out. But I was late.
But you didn't want to be over the hump, over the end of the year mark.
Yeah, no. Then I was just like 28th of December. That seems pretty good.
You have always been fascinated by the question of what, if anything, happens after death. I don't know if I'm fascinated by that. I think it's scary to me.
Yeah. But I
And
do question it.
I question it very often. And then I go into like spirals, existential crises, and it's not productive. So in the end,
No.
I try to avoid spiraling down that road.
Yeah. So, I
So
mean, it is,
I would say small agree
yeah, because I'm like,
because it's not like it's not something I think about.
it is fascinating, but usually triggering.
Yeah, so small agree
So,
for me.
yeah.
Okay,
Next,
50% done.
50%. We did it. Usually prefer to be around others rather than on your own. I would
Um,
say, for the most part, yes. because I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think I don't think I can go all day without like talking to no one.
Yeah.
You know, like I have to have like even just like when I'm at work and because we're working remotely and like I just sometimes go upstairs and just stare at my mom and dog. I talk to the birds, talk to my mom.
I
Like,
agree. I'll
I
put a small agree because I prefer to be around others, but I really enjoy those like late night moments where I'm just
yes.
in my room by myself and I'm like down an internet rabbit hole, you know?
Yeah. Like I will like I have a carpet in my room that I just sit on and I'm just like my mom came into the room and she's just like, "You're always on the floor." My brother too, he's just like, "Why are you on the floor?" And I'm like, "I like the floor." I just like sitting there and just being with myself. But yeah,
You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical.
disagree.
Big disagree.
Depends.
I'm doing
I mean,
big disagree.
how theoretical are we getting?
I don't care. I'm
Actually,
usually down no matter how
I was
theoretical it
about to
gets.
say,
I'm the one who takes it there, and then other people are like, oh.
yeah, I'm like theoretically. Like, what are you thinking?
That's what we've been doing this whole time. We've been doing theoretical like discussions on every single question.
Okay, you're right. Big
So this is a
disagree.
big disagree. If if anyone's listening to this right now, you're in like over an hour, so you are also a disagree. Otherwise, you would have
Yeah,
been bored and stopped listening a long time ago.
yeah. Thanks for listening to us ramble.
You find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. Mm,
No.
I would say medium agree. I try my best to think about others and their experiences, even if they're very different. Even someone who um, has very different opinions than me on like very important topics, I'll try to be like, okay, well, they probably have a hard upbringing, or I try to like make excuses. That's a bad way of putting it, but I try to like think about what what could lead them down this thought process.
Yeah. And see, like, I would say I don't find it easy because, like, I mean, if it's something I've never experienced, then I'm trying to find something that I can kind of like link it to, or something that
Right.
I've read, or something that I've seen.
Yeah.
But do I find it easy? No. So that's why I'm saying little disagree. But I do also try to figure out why they might be away or why something. Or
Yeah.
like I try to do my best to understand them.
Yeah, cuz I think what's really um like not productive is to just write people off as like, oh, this is just an evil person, like they're just
Yeah.
a horrible person. It's like, no, that's like a 2D character. Like you
Yeah.
need to give them some kind of um relatable backstory or whatever to make it believable, and then that'll help you understand them, and then that'll lead to like, you know, solving problems and stuff. You're not going to
Yeah.
solve problems by just villainizing people.
Mhm. Cuz I mean like I always try to think of it like, everybody cuz I mean everybody thinks they're the main character.
Exactly.
They all go on about their days. But there are so many people, and just because there are so many of us doesn't mean that we're all reduced to just like one thing, or
Yeah,
like one conversation that you had with them, or
exactly.
whatever. We're all going through stuff, and
I
you have
mean,
to
these
think of
little
yourself as
things,
others.
yes, and these little things, like these little conversations you have with people, I'm not saying that like one opinion that these people had is like, oh, it's just like something they said like 2 years ago, it doesn't matter. I think the little things they say still point to like big character traits of
Yeah.
theirs. So it's not something to be just dismissed. And you can definitely just like cut people off if they're toxic to you.
Mhm.
I'm not saying don't do that. Just don't make them a villain. But also like you have the right to just cut people off if they're toxic.
Yep.
Because, take care of yourself first. But, they'll find friends who they agree with and it doesn't have to be you.
Yeah. That's important though. I mean, like,
Hmm.
I feel like it's hard to cut off friendships or anything, like even just like acquaintances or whatever. And
Yeah, it's hard.
it is. So I feel like that's important. So I feel like in when you're younger especially, it's really hard to figure out who is toxic and who is not,
Yeah, it
because you're
is.
still learning everything and
Yep.
you're still learning about yourself. And so yeah.
It's tough, but we're all learning one step at a time.
Mhm.
You usually postpone finalizing decisions for as long as possible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say agree. I just don't know what size. Like,
I feel like
I'm going
medium
between medium
agree.
and small.
I'm gonna say medium agree because I mean,
I'm gonna say small.
how did I get into university? The very last date that I had to apply, I applied that night before like the cutoff time, like 11:59 p.m. that day. It was like cutting off, and I did it maybe at like 10 or 11.
Oh my gosh. I remember being like, Andrea.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. But actually, I don't know. Am I a big agree?
I think you might be a big agree. Because
Because
I'm
if there's a
I'm definitely
deadline,
small agree because I get stressed about big decisions, so I try to not think about them for a long time until I absolutely have to. But then sometimes I get into this like zone where I'm just like, I've been putting this off for too long. Let's make this decision, and then I'm like, bam, and then I'm like, oh, I did it. Like with the cat,
yeah,
I'm like, okay, like I've been researching these cats for like a week now. I don't know almost everything there is to know. I've been wanting a cat for over a year, and I'm like, okay, like the one step left now is to like put down this deposit. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Bam. And then I sent it. I'm like, whew. And my mom's like, what? Even though I told her, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read the contract. I'm going to send the deposit. And she's like, okay. And then when I did it, she's like, you did it?
I love that.
Yeah. But I think so there's this like rush that I get sometimes when I'm like, let's just do it.
Yeah. And see, for me, that's like, for me, I'm like shopping, where I'll be thinking about getting something for a while, and then I'll just one day, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it, and that's it.
Yeah, I have that too. And it's usually like 3 a.m. and I have
Yeah.
like 10 things in my cart and I'm like I've been staring at them
Yep.
for hours and I'm just like, you know what? What's $200?
Yeah. That was like me with the hollow taco polish.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I've been wanting some for a long time. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna paint my nails. So I guess medium agree depends on the
Yeah. You
thing.
rarely second guess the choices that you have made. I'll say medium agree because I tend to overthink my choices before I make them. So then once I do make them, I'm like,
I'm like, no, that was good.
yeah. I'm usually like, yeah, this is the choice that I would have made no matter what because I
Yeah.
overthought it so much.
Yes. After a long and exhausting week, a lively social event is just what you need.
Depends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of long and exhausting? Like emotionally, mentally? But then again, people might help you just like forget about it.
Yeah, if it's like a fun like concert or something, and I'm like, yes, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah,
Finally, I get to like have this reward for this long week that I had. Or if
then
it's like
yes.
a party, like someone's birthday party that I've been looking forward to. But I think after a long, exhausting week,
Mm,
I would prefer to like be in my pajamas and sleep,
and take a bath.
take a bath, yeah, and like watch a movie.
Yeah, but I mean, also a week is a long time. And so I'm like, for the entire week to be long and exhausting, surprising. But
Mm.
I guess, but if I'm doing that with somebody and we also get to do the same thing together, then that's even better. If you can just like be lazy with that person. You're like, you know what? I'm so tired.
But that's not a lively social event.
Oh, true. So then I guess small disagree,
Small disagree.
but sometimes you look forward to those things. But a long and exhausting week, I feel like I would just want to die. So
And then to say it's just what you need, like a lively social event is just what you need, I don't think so.
no, I need food.
It'll be something I'm looking forward to and I have fun at it, but it won't be
It's
something I
not what I
need.
need. Yeah. I need food, a bath, and chocolate.
Like let's say it's like, oh, you had a long and exhausting week and then you're texting me about it and I go, "You know what you need? You need to go to a party with me." Then you'll be like, "That's not what I need," but
Like, no, I was going to suggest that we watch Dirty Dancing on the
yes. And order ice cream and smoothies and
milkshakes.
whatever. Yeah,
Mm,
milkshakes. That was fun.
that was great.
You enjoy going to art museums. I feel like I could enjoy
Yes,
it, but do I actively enjoy it? Like is this something I enjoy doing? No. So
that's why I'd be
I'll put
like
small
small
agree.
agree. Yeah,
Like I feel like it'd be fun, but it's not
yeah.
like a hobby of mine. You
You
often
often
have a
have
hard time understanding other people's feelings. Big disagree.
depends where they're coming from. Like, I mean, there's so many things that can go into people's feelings, though.
I feel like understanding people's feelings I'm good at.
Yeah,
Agreeing with their feelings, I not all the time. Like
yeah,
I can be like, "Oh, I understand why you felt this way. I don't think you like you have a right to feel that way, but I think, I don't agree with you."
yeah. Have a hard time. Hmm. Feel like I'm not. No. Are you saying agree or disagree for this? You often have. So you have a hard time, or you don't have a hard time.
I said big disagree. I
See, for
I
me, it'd be
don't have a
like
hard time.
it would be small disagree. So I mean, like I get it, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, but. So I guess small disagree. So I'm like, I get it. I know why you're mad or whatever, but rationally.
That's why I think like understanding and agreeing with are
Yeah,
separate. Yeah.
they are.
You like to have a to-do list for each day.
It
Me disagree.
mentally, like I mean, it's a
Even
very
mentally,
very
it's literally just like, oh, here's some things you have to get done eventually.
for me it's like a
What do you
very
feel like
loose
doing
list.
today?
Like, today I was like, okay, what are we doing today? I'm like, maybe I'm like, well, first of all, food. Food is always in the in the list. I'm like, but then I'm like, we also have this podcast.
Hmm.
And then I'm also like, well, then I also need to shower and work out, and the rest is whatever. In what order? Who knows? But like, that's like the general. like mental list in my head, but it's not a to-do list. So like I have to.
Yeah. That's why I put medium disagree.
I'm gonna put yeah, also the same. I rarely feel insecure.
I'm gonna put
Medium agree.
small disagree. No, wait. Rarely feel insecure. Okay, small agree.
I put medium agree.
I feel like uh it takes work to be confident in yourself. There are like spurts of insecurity, but you just have to work through it.
Yeah, because I feel like whenever I am feeling insecure, I always think it's just in my head and
Yeah,
nobody else can see that I'm feeling that way. And even though it seems like catastrophizing to you as you're like in the moment and
exactly.
say you're
Yeah.
saying stupid things or whatever, it's actually not that big of a deal.
Hmm.
And so it's just like whatever, you know, we're all humans, we all make mistakes, we've all got our quirks, and it's not like, you know, they're same with like how you have to think of people as individuals, even though there are so many of us. You also think there are so many of us.
Uh huh.
You're not the center of attention.
Yeah, it's like snowflakes. Like each of
Yeah,
them is beautiful under a microscope, but when you look out at a field of snow, will
you're
you
not
be
gonna
able to
look.
pick out that one unique snowflake? No.
Yeah, or like the one weird snowflake that has only like two arms or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
You
But yeah,
avoid making phone calls.
yeah,
Big agree. Big agree.
I would say medium, because I mean, if I really don't have to, then I just won't. But because if I can text somebody, then that's awesome.
Yeah. I wish I
But
could like text to make an appointment with my doctor.
I hate that. So yeah, I'd say medium agree, but also if I'm in the mood, I mean, like when it was
In the
like,
mood. How, you're saying it like, ooh, if I'm in the mood for a phone call.
because I mean,
If I'm in the mood to call my doctor.
it's true though. It's like this like mood where you're just like, you know what? I'm a boss lady, and I'm just gonna call them. But for the most part, I'm like, mm-mm.
That's kind of like the moods that I get in when I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna finally make this decision. You know?
Yeah, it's like
That
it's exactly like
it's like
that.
that too. Like I've been putting this off for so long, let me just call them.
Yeah,
But
or like
I'm never gonna like want to call somebody.
that was kind of like me with when I was fighting Bell for our internet,
Mhm.
because I called them like so many times, like way too many
Bell
times.
is an internet service provider in Canada. It's one of the
Yeah,
biggest
it's
ones.
either one or the other. It's either Rogers or Bell,
Yeah,
and
they
they're
have a
evil.
monopoly.
But when I was making like those phone calls, I was just like I was kind of like hyped. Like after like the first time that I called them, and I was like, "Okay, seriously, what the heck is happening here?" I'm like, my mom is tired of you. I'm like, she's so tired that I'm talking to you guys now. And then it was kind of like a power trip, but that's a mood.
Yeah, that's not like all the time.
Yeah, so I will avoid making phone calls for the most part.
You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. Medium agree. This is what I just talked about a lot.
Yeah.
It's like trying to understand other people so that you can come to some sort of understanding together.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think
then
that's important, especially in the world that we live in today.
mhm. it's also like, I feel like you're like, well, I mean, when you want to talk about your own opinion, it helps to know other perspectives.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel like that's important to understand other views, other ways that people can think of the exact same topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't spend a whole lot of time. Just why I would say medium. The wording of these questions sometimes I'm like,
I know, same. That's also why I
you
put
guys,
medium.
you guys are looking to fight, you know. Okay, anyways, next.
We're 70% done.
Whew.
In your social circle, you are often the one who contacts your friends and initiates activities.
That's you.
That's big agree for me. I think it's uh I I just, I like my friends, and I think it goes back to being like the oldest. I like to have control over
Yeah.
things. So I like to be like, "Hey, do you want to go to a restaurant this day or whatever?" Not in COVID, but let's like play Jackbox games or whatever. Like I'm
Hmm.
usually the one setting these things up.
Yeah. And for me, I would be like, I would say I'm medium agree
Hmm.
because I do it not as often as you. But usually I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna text person for fun, see what they're up to. I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's life?
Ooh, but wait, contact your friends, because then, or in my social circle, because it depends how far I go out of my social circle, right?
Hmm.
Because um people that are my friends but like not my best friends,
Yeah, because
I
for
never
us,
contact first, really.
yeah, because for us,
So
you are,
should I go to medium agree?
I think, yeah,
Okay, medium agree.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say medium agree as well
It's very
because,
rare that I will contact someone who is not my best friend first. Because I just
yeah,
feel like, I have a limited amount of energy to expend on socializing. And um, I'm just the type of person who prefers to spend that on my inner circle, you know,
yeah.
rather
And for
than
me,
to like
sometimes
go
it's like,
out.
it's just like a burst of energy
Hmm.
where I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to this person, say hi, how's it going? Then then I'll be like, yeah, we should totally like meet up. And then I just like, I'm terrible at executing, but you're good at executing.
Because it's also like a burst of energy, but it's very concentrated to two
Yeah,
people.
yeah. And for me, it's like I've had like too many drinks, even though I'm sober, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then the drinks go away, and you're like, what have I done?
You're like, oh no, I initiated all these conversations. Now I have to continue them.
Yeah. Okay, next question. If your plans are uninterrupted, let me try this again. If your plans are interrupted, your top priority is to get back on track as soon as possible.
uh,
What kind of plans?
I wouldn't say it's my top
It's
priority.
not. So I would say disagree medium
I'd say small disagree because I think it
or
depends on the plans,
that
how
too.
important they are.
And can you even get it back on track?
Yeah, and
Is it
how significant
possible?
is this interruption? Like, did someone die?
Yeah.
Because I would be like, okay, how about we get coffee tomorrow then?
Yeah, because it depends.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna say medium disagree. So I'm like, the world's not gonna end.
Yeah. And usually I'll find something else to do.
Exactly.
You are still bothered by mistakes that you made a long time ago.
No regrets.
Honestly, I'll think about it. Like it'll pop up into my mind late at night and I'll be like, "Ooh, cringe." But
Yeah,
I'm not like regretting things.
no. That's why
So
I'm
I'll
like
say
medium disagree
medium disagree.
in case I think about it at 3 a.m. or whatever. But
Yeah.
otherwise, for the most part, I'm like, nah, I would have like, it happened and that's it.
And
There's
butterfly
no changing
effect,
it.
like I
That
would be in
too.
a different place now, so
Yeah, because I think about like, okay, well, what I like if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh man, that mistake, that was so cringe. But then like, but if that didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened, and so
mhm.
here we are, grateful for the present.
You rarely contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. Big disagree. I
Disagree.
always contemplate.
It's why we have crises
Yes.
all the time.
Uh-huh.
Or I get very like I don't know, like even sometimes when I'm just walking and I'm just like admiring nature and stuff, and then I think about myself like as a physical being, and I'm like, whoa, I'm here.
Oh my god, I know. Sometimes I'm like literally recently I've been thinking and I'm just like honestly, like does does the universe have a plan for us? Because like there's children who die young. And like
Mhm.
was that their plan? Like you know how I always say like, oh, like if I'm going through a hard time it's just because like I need to go through this to grow and then it'll like get me ready for the future where I'll be happier or I'll be like more prepared for whatever. But then I'm like there's kids starving who have
Yeah.
never had a good day in their life.
What's that purpose? What's that
So like
plan?
yeah, so I'm like is there a plan or is that just my coping mechanism? And then I'm like I shouldn't be thinking about this because I'm losing this coping mechanism and how am I going to cope without it?
Yeah. And then I try to think about how these people like if they wonder what their existence is for in their situation. And then I
Yeah, it's
get
scary. I
to
hate going down
choose.
these rabbit
Yeah,
holes. I
we
used to
should.
really indulge it, but recently I think it brings me more stress than it does fascination.
Yeah, I
So
feel
I
like it.
try to
Yeah, it
avoid
gets
it when I feel
you.
it happening.
It gets you into a spiral,
Yeah,
or you just feel like very. I don't know. Like for me, I tend to
meaningless.
feel very small. Like you
Yeah,
kind of like I don't know. I kind of like disassociate
same.
with yourself,
Yeah.
and you're
And
just
I'm
like,
like, what is
well,
the
I'm
point?
just yeah. So I do contemplate, but is it good? That's not the question. Okay, next question.
Your emotions control you more than you control them.
Disagree.
Um,
I would say little disagree
I don't know because
because
how what do you mean by more emotions control me? Because I feel like going to therapy I've been trying to like tap in more into my emotions so that I can like if I'm having a sad day, I'll like take a bath, take care of myself versus try to suppress it,
hmm
you know? So is that my emotions controlling me?
but you said that you tap into that mood. So to me that's like you're like knowingly being like, okay, yes, I'm sad and we are going to feel the sad.
Right. So is that controlling them
I think
or is
that's you.
that them controlling me?
I think that's you controlling them because I feel like when your emotions are out of control, you're just
Like a victim to them or
yeah,
yeah.
like you're yeah, like it's like, they're out of control. Like, you're just, I don't know. Cuz like when you're really really mad,
Hmm.
but you don't know why you're mad or whatever. Like, those
And you're
moments where
just
you just
lashing
have,
out.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So I
that
guess
I feel
small
like,
disagree.
yeah, because I feel like we can't control how we react to things sometimes. Like, like it's just like a gut instinct, and then that's when the emotions take control.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you say things that you don't mean
Yeah.
just because you're like angry or sad or whatever. And then you're like,
Hmm.
oh, shoot.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I feel that is. So I say small disagree.
You take care not to make people look bad, even when it is completely their fault. I'm going to say medium agree. And that's like in the lab when like something goes wrong, I'm just like, okay, like don't worry, it's not your fault. Like sometimes, we're careless or whatever, and I really not careless. Like I don't know, like we have we have like undergrads come in and work in the lab, and like they don't know the equipment yet, and then like something goes wrong or whatever, they break something, but I'm like, don't worry, like we're all learning. We've all been there. Don't feel bad about it. I think I try really hard not to make people feel or look bad for what they do wrong.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't know. I'm trying to think of a situation where this has happened.
Has no one like messed up anything at work and then it's like on you to like tell somebody about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like not being a bad person. Because there are times when, like, I mean, it's just like an emailing where you can CC people, or you can leave them off and point out the mistake to that person directly.
Right.
And so, but there are some times where, like, people will like CC people, and then everybody can see that you've made that mistake
Yeah, it's
or
like really
whatever.
passive aggressive. I
Then
hate
that,
that.
yeah, then that is, I don't do that. So I'm going to say small agree or medium. Because I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to, like, if I make a mistake and they make like a huge deal out of it for me,
Yeah, I
then
hate
I'm
that.
like, oh my god. um but yeah, I mean, it's just like, I feel like it's like a common courtesy, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of like another situation. Um it
Unless it's
also
like
de-
sibling stuff, because then I'm like, oh, she did it. It wasn't me. It's
yeah,
her fault.
yeah, because that's why I'm like, it depends on like the person or your relationship with them too.
Yeah.
Because if you're, I don't know, if they're a terrible person, then I'll be like, so, yeah, that was them. But if I care about them, then I will be like, no, 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 it's fine. Because that's what I would want them to also do for me.
Yeah, you gotta put out what you want to receive in the
Yeah.
world.
So I'm going to do small agree, but yeah. Yeah. Or a medium? This is hard. Because I mean, then I also think about like, any, like, say like I wouldn't be a customer who like gets really mad at like the cashier for
Oh
making a
yeah.
mistake or whatever. Like making like a huge deal out of something.
Yeah, that too. That's why anything except like sibling rivalry.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say medium agree is my
Yeah.
final thing. Because I also hated it when, like, say somebody would make a mistake or whatever, and then, if like the customer's like, oh my God, like, like they made that mistake, and if one of like the managers or like supervisors was like, oh yeah, I don't know how they don't know that. Like, it is so easy that I would never do that.
I hate that. It's like you're selling out like your own, one of your own.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Okay, anyways. We are 80% done.
Almost there. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than organized and consistent efforts.
Huge agree.
Huge agree. We've
That's
talked about this
me.
so much.
Yeah, we have.
When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take them to feel disappointed in you.
This is the
This
saddest
question.
question. Every single time I read it, I want to give whoever said big agree or was on any spectrum of the agree just a big hug.
This is like huge trauma. Like I
Yeah.
feel sorry for whatever happened to you in life. And I don't mean this like talking down on you. Like truly like I I want to hug you and refer
Mhm.
you to a therapist so you could talk it out. And this
Yes.
is coming from someone in therapy, so don't take it as an insult. Talk it out and get some self-confidence because you rock, okay?
Yeah.
You shouldn't like take every good moment and then think about when it's going to turn bad.
Yeah, no. That like this is the worst question. The worst in terms of how it makes me feel.
Uh I'm going to say medium disagree. Because I
Medium
don't wonder how
disagree.
long it'll take them to feel disappointed in me, but I do think like, oh, like they have a big they have like a high opinion of me now. I hope I don't screw it up, you know?
Yeah, like for me it's more like a I hope, yeah, just like I hope I don't let them down in terms of like their expectations of
Yeah, but not like I wonder how long until I let them down.
yeah, like for me it's just like okay, but they've got a great opinion, that's awesome. Let's keep it up,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's not like
It's not like I will fail. It's only a
it's
matter of
just like
time.
okay, hold on. Yeah. You would love a job that requires you to work alone most of the time. No.
Ooh. I would say small agree.
I'm going to put medium disagree
Because I like to
because
work independently. I don't know about alone. Like I like to work on my own project by myself, like not group work, you know, not teamwork,
mhm.
interacting, you know, let's get this done together. Like I hate that kind of stuff. I like to have my own thing and like still have coworkers that I can chat with
Yeah, for me
about their own things.
I like working with people. And just like I mean, I feel like all the jobs that I've had have been working with people and just
Uh-huh.
like the camaraderie over getting like something done is really rewarding to me. It's like, okay, troops, let's go. Let's get this trash done.
I feel like I hate having to rely on other people and have other people rely on me for their project, you know? Because I have such like a burst of energy type of work ethic,
Hmm.
if someone is very meticulous and scheduled and stuff like that, then I am like, well, I'm already going to disappoint you, so don't get your hopes up.
See, I feel like I would feel that way had I not worked in like a very professional group setting. Because
Mhm.
in my work, I know that everybody is a professional I know that everybody, like, this is what they're here for. We all have this common goal of making the show work. And
Right.
we all have our time to do it, and like, as long as we all communicate, it's fine. Like, for me, I don't feel that that pressure of like, oh no, I'm not getting my part done.
Uh-huh.
And so to me, that's where because if it was a group project where I have to get like something done, my part done, but I don't care about the project,
Right.
then I'm gonna hand it in last minute.
And then that like that type A person is going to look at you like, "Andrea, this is your
Yeah,
fault."
basically. But I had a thought in my head, but it just disappeared. I don't know where it went. It was really good though.
I like grad school. I definitely wouldn't want to be this, like I wouldn't want this to be my job forever. But I like it for now where like I have my own personal project that I work on, but I'm in a lab with other people who have their own projects and I get to chat with them whenever I have downtime. But
Hmm.
my success isn't dependent on anyone else and their success isn't dependent on me, and we can just like talk about how our projects aren't going well together, discuss like how everything's going, and we both like have there's still camaraderie in that, you know
Yeah,
but there's no pressure on anyone else. Like, I'm not mad at you because my gel looked bad. I'm just mad at
yeah,
myself or the
yeah.
equipment or whatever. So I like that part of it. And then whatever success comes of it is mine, you know?
I don't know. For me, it's like the team. We did this. We like worked through this together, and that is always like fun to see
Hmm.
for me, at least. But then I also like to, or like, I guess my own personal side projects. Well, I mean, I like to have the time to work on them alone,
Right.
but I would also like to seek feedback. And so, and that's why I think I disagree for the most, but medium disagree, because I wouldn't want to always work together with someone on something.
Hmm.
But yeah,
You believe that pondering abstract philosophical questions is a waste of time.
disagree.
I'll say
Because, like,
I'm going between small disagree and medium disagree because I do think as I've gotten older, it does kind of, it's not that it's a waste of time, it's like it'll trigger me into an existential crisis, like we talked about. So I
yes.
try to avoid it when I can. And also sometimes people um start taking it too far when I'm just like, I don't even
Yep.
feel like talking about this anymore.
Yeah. And then, because it says abstract philosophical questions. So then
I'll do medium
I'm
disagree.
just I'm just trying to figure out what that means in between. Like, putting those two terms
I
together.
think therefore I am. What does that mean?
You know?
It's like I'll talk about that for like half an hour, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like spend a whole evening.
Cause, like, I mean, for philosophy, I feel like it can be fun, but then some people can take it like too far for me, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of ruining the mood, dude, right? Like let's just
Yeah,
like play Mario Kart or whatever.
yeah, because I would rather do the theoretical kind of stuff, or
Yeah.
hypothetical situation,
Yeah.
than do philosophy. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna say medium disagree.
Yeah. Same.
Wait, you believe that it's a waste of time?
Yeah, medium disagree.
Yeah,
Cuz I'll do it. I'll have fun, but there's a limit.
yeah.
You feel
Okay.
more drawn to places with busy, bustling atmospheres than quiet, intimate places. Uh, I'll say,
I'm gonna say small agree.
I'm gonna say medium disagree. Because I think if I think about like a nice, quiet front porch with a big yard, that's where I'd rather live than in like a high rise in the city.
Yeah. For me, I was just immediately thinking of like a mall, and I
A
was like,
mall
a
or
mall,
a beach.
a mall or a beach. But then I also think about if I were to be there alone or whatever,
I'm
I would
because I'm
probably
thinking about
be,
either like places that I want to live or places that I want to go on vacation. So would I rather do like a touristy, like fast paced sort of vacation, or would I rather like sit on a beach, be in a hotel, like chill, sunbathe, go to a nice restaurant, you know?
okay. Yeah, I still think I would probably do busy, but I would also want some like downtime in between. It's like I'd want to like go and like do things and see things and stuff, but at the end of the day, you just like relax.
See, I would like if we ever, which we will, we plan to eventually go to Disney World
Yes.
together. I would prefer, and we'd probably have to meet in the middle somewhere, but I'd be more the person who like gets up like 11 o'clock, strolls over, gets some continental breakfast, goes to the park at noon, you know, gets the fast passes, goes on like a few rides, goes to a nice restaurant, goes home. Then maybe like sits by the pool in the evening or watches Forensic Files on the TV. Like even though it's fast paced, like it's Disney World, I
Yeah.
prefer the calm, you know, take it slow sort of version of Disney World.
For me, it's like, let's go see and do things.
So we'd have to like meet in the middle.
Yeah, because I'd also want some just like relax time by the pool and stuff. Um, Also eat because I love food.
I love food. Like most of going to
Food is
Disney World
great.
is going to the restaurants. They have really good food.
Yeah, see, for me when I went, I was like on a budget, so
Uh I go with my family,
I
so
didn't have too much um of that experience, but I did buy Mickey shaped things, so I covered it. And went to be our guest for breakfast. That was so good.
it is. Be Our Guest is like my
That
favorite
was
restaurant.
incredible. And it's so
So
well
good.
themed and it's just a great experience. You should go.
Yeah, you should
Whoever's
go.
listening. When the pandemic is over.
And if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know at first glance how someone is feeling.
Depends on the person.
Depends on the person. And also, my therapist tells me thoughts are not facts.
Yeah, because how can you know at first glance?
Yeah, you can interpret what
Like,
their
I
face is
mean,
telling you, but you won't
yeah,
know unless you're in their head.
yeah. So I'm like,
Like small,
disagree,
I would
small
say small,
disagree.
small agree.
Or sorry. Oh, okay. I was about to say, did I get that wrong? I'm gonna say small disagree because I mean, some people have poker faces. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Some people could just have not very expressive faces.
Yeah, or like, it's just like a vibe that they give off where you can see like,
Yeah,
oh, they do not want to engage today.
yeah. I feel like you're talking about me.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Okay, next page. 90% done. This is our last page.
You often feel overwhelmed.
Small agree. Not too often, but often
E-
enough.
For me, I'm like, I can't decide between agree or small disagree. because I hate answering things like in between.
Yeah. I haven't done like
Um,
a middle answer yet. And they say that you should try to
yeah,
be as decisive as you can.
because I feel like for the most part, I'm not overwhelmed more than feeling overwhelmed. But there are times where I'm just like, I don't know. It's just you're like,
I have
oh
a
god,
lot of times when I think like how can my brain fit more into it? Do you ever have that?
where your brain can fit more.
No, you're like how like I feel like my brain is at capacity. How can I, and I'm only 24, like how can I grow up and have more in my brain than I have already? Like by the time like I'm a homeowner, how am I going to have all of that, like you come home after a long day at work, you spend so much time at your work, you're dedicated to your work, you come home,
Yeah,
your house, like the toilet's clogged, you have to call a
yeah,
plumber, you have to set up internet, like how your kids have like ballet recitals, like how am I going to balance all of that if I already feel like I'm at my limit?
yeah. I think about that too, but then I know that it's whatever that is, it didn't happen overnight, and it's a gradual adjustment that you will incorporate into your life. Like when you
That's a
first
good way of looking at it. I haven't like come up with an answer for it. How to not feel overwhelmed, but that's a good strategy.
Yeah, because when you think about it, like you were describing, you have a house, your toilet's clogged, and you have to take your kids to ballet, but also feed them dinner and also clean up the house.
Yes.
That
It
that
sounds
didn't
like so much.
that didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It happened in your head just now,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen all in one hit.
Yeah, you're right.
And so when you started university and when you started doing your masters and doing the lab and being a TA, that didn't happen overnight. You just like got used to it. That became part of your schedule.
Dang, you sound like my therapist. Like this is like a therapy session. Like I feel like I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I could do it.
Good. You can do it.
Because I feel that way now, where I'm just like I committed to buying a cat. Like I'm gonna be a cat mom, and
Yeah.
that's like a whole other aspect of life. Like I'm gonna be basically a mother. I'm gonna have to take it to the vet. I'm gonna have to like if I have like a big day coming up and turns out my cat is sick, like I'm gonna have to like drop what I'm doing, take her to the vet, you
Mhm.
know? And that's like stressing me out, even though it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. But it is something to consider.
Yeah. And so I'm like imagining everything and I'm just like, you know what? You'll figure it out as it happens. No need to stress about it ahead of time.
Yeah. Just take
Obviously,
it
I'm
one
gonna
step
buy
at a
like
time.
pet insurance. I'm gonna like try to prepare as much as I can, but
Yeah.
there's only so
You'll
much I can
learn
do.
you'll learn how to take care of a cat.
Yeah. Maybe that'll prepare me for taking care of children in the future.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is. Like pets are like small children.
Yeah,
And when having a kitten or a puppy is like having a baby. You need
basically,
to
yeah.
train them, you need to watch them, make sure
Make
that
sure
they
they
don't
don't
get
die.
sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you're going to do well and it'll be cute. The cat's going to be really cute.
I'm excited. I hope quarantine will like ease up a little bit so you guys can come meet her.
I know, I really want to. I hope so by June, please.
Yeah. Okay. You complete things methodically without skipping over any steps. I mean, I'm a scientist. That's kind of like in my blood.
Mhm.
We gotta follow a protocol. Uh, but do I take some shortcuts sometimes? Like once I know a protocol really well and I know like what is important, what isn't important. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, I would say
I'll say medium agree.
I would say medium. I mean, it depends. It depends on the thing. Because I mean, sometimes I'm just like, I'll do this thing, then I'll come back to that thing, even though it should be like the other way around. But I just don't want to do
That's
that yet.
true, yeah.
Or, if it's like a Lego set or like a Playmobil set, like I'll just be like, I mean, the right thing to do is to follow the instruction booklet and just like follow it through step by step. But if I just look at the picture
Oh no, I
and
will
try
read
and
it.
guess,
I will read it. This is where we diverge.
so I would say small disagree. It depends. Sometimes I just want to sometimes I want to follow some things, and other times I'm like, nah, this is like, it's like another like level,
Hmm. Yeah, can't relate. I will read instructions for everything to make sure I'm using it correctly. Like I will read shampoo bottle instructions. Like even now, when I get a new shampoo, I will read it. Be like, do they want me to lather twice? You know? Do they want me
Yeah,
to use a generous amount or a small amount?
I know. I read that and I'm like, okay, nice guidelines, but this is what works. So,
But you don't know yet because you haven't used that product.
yeah, but I just go with it and guess from my own experience.
Okay. So what are you putting for this one?
uh, I couldn't decide. Small disagree or medium disagree. Wait, yes, because saying I disagree
Yeah.
without skipping over any steps. Yeah.
So which one?
Okay, fine, medium.
You are very intrigued by things labeled as controversial.
Well, if it's labeled as controversial,
Then I'm
I want to
intrigued.
figure out why. I'm sorry. I'd be like, I'm sorry. Why is this
I'm gonna say yes.
controversial?
Medium agree.
Yeah. Like if it's like a Snapchat article or they're like somebody sent out a controversial tweet, I'm like, sorry, what is that?
Or the most controversial Bachelor season yet. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm tuning in.
I'm like, hold on, I need to see this. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. What? In
Like
what
what?
context
Yeah, like what?
does this exist? Like,
It depends how much I need it. Like if I don't need it that much, or like if it's like I don't
and if
know.
I'm qualified for whatever opportunity this is,
Oh, like if it's a job,
that's what I'm like thinking about it
bro.
in
No,
terms
medium
of like,
disagree. No,
yeah, because I mean,
I mean I'm not like I'm not like an evil person, but I'm not like an angel. Like sorry.
like if someone needs it more, I don't understand.
Like if someone is really financially struggling and then they're like about to
What,
get a
you screw
promotion,
up your own like
or
your own
I get a
interview?
promotion and then I'm like, nah, Susie needs it more. Sorry.
No. I'll be like, I've been slaving away, yes. Give me the promotion. Yeah, but when would you agree?
Maybe if you're like Jesus.
So I'm like, are we actually medium disagree or would we be big disagree? Cuz like what in what context does
Oh.
this exist?
I thought you meant
We're
like
not
in what
Jesus.
world would you like a big agree? But yeah, I mean, I like if it's like uh
Like I mean,
if it's a
if
contest,
say
right? If there's a contest and then someone has bigger financial need than me and I'm like I don't need it that much, then I might like pull out of the contest or whatever, you know? Or if I win, I'll be like, "Oh, this person needs the prize more than me, so here you go." But if it's something that I earned,
Yeah.
then I'm not. It depends how much I need it, right? If someone needs it more than me, but just a little bit more than me, then I'll keep it. But if I really don't need it and they need it, then here you go. You froze.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, but I think I understood most of it. And so, but yes.
Well, like when would
Like, I
you
mean,
pass a good
it's
opportunity along?
also, yeah, this is also like, if I already have something good and something else comes along, but I'm already like, no, I'm okay, then I'll like pass it along, be like, you know what, I think you would be really good for this, or you need this more.
Like if you're dating someone and you really like whoever you're dating, but then a really like attractive person is like hitting on you and you're like, "Nah, Agatha, you should take him." Like is that what you mean?
No, I was thinking more like, I don't know, like, like if it's a like you were saying, if you won a contest or whatever, but you're already like you don't really need the prize or whatever.
Yeah.
But you see that somebody else is like, oh man, I really wanted that. I would be like, yeah, sure, here, have it.
Yeah. That's the only way that I would um pass along a good opportunity. That's why I'm like medium disagree.
Yeah, because we're not Jesus.
No, we're not Jesus.
that's that's who would be 100% big agree. They would
Exactly.
have to be Jesus. And also really impressed if we have a listener that's like Jesus on here.
Yeah, if you said big agree to this question, reach out. Send,
I would
send
like
a
to
voice
know
memo or something.
how.
Explain yourself. You struggle with deadlines. Define struggle.
Right? Because I'm like, I mean, if a deadline is given to me, then I know that I have that allotted amount of time to do it, and that means it will be done by said deadline.
Yeah. I feel like I need deadlines.
Yeah,
So
so do
I'll
I.
say medium disagree. I don't
Yeah, because
struggle
I
with
don't
deadlines.
I don't struggle with it. I just know that it's coming and that I'll probably do it at the last minute. But is that a struggle?
I would say it's a struggle. I would say it's just uh, an asset.
It's an asset. Okay. You feel confident that things will work out for you. Yes.
Medium agree. Sometimes I'm insecure, but I think in
Yeah.
the end, everything will be fine.
Yeah. I'm also medium agree. Oh my god, I think we're done.
Okay, your gender optional. This will determine your avatar in the results screen. Are
I'm
we
gonna
saying
put
female?
female. Yeah.
Okay, see results. Let's see what
See
happens. Ah,
results. What'd you get?
INFP.
ENTP.
Ah, we haven't changed.
No, we haven't.
I think our percentages might have changed.
Yeah.
I'm way more. I think I've been way more decisive this time, and so my percentages are not so much in the middle as they
So
used to
what's
be.
your first percentage? Extroverted versus introverted.
So I'm 71% introverted. How
Mine
about you?
is 57% extroverted,
Oh,
which I think
has it gone
um
down?
I think so. But I mean it also makes sense.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that reflects me more too
Mm-hmm.
because
Maybe
I mean,
quarantine too.
yeah.
has made you more introverted?
But I mean, for the most part, when it comes to people and like my friends and stuff, I like to keep a small circle.
Yeah. So just to clarify, the first letter is either E or I, and it refers to your mind. This trait determines how we interact with our environment. So you're either extroverted or introverted. Now, the second one
Yeah.
is either N or S, and that is energy. This trait shows where we direct our mental energy. So you're either intuitive or observant. So I am 76% intuitive.
Ooh, I got 73% intuitive.
Ooh, we're similar. I mean, we
Yeah.
knew this already.
Yeah, I know. We already knew this. Look at us.
So this is more, I think, if you direct your mental energy inward or outward. Because observant people are more like observant, like they
hmm
they look
They're
around the
like in the
outside.
present.
Yeah. And intuitive, you're more like inside your brain, contemplating things, thinking about things, having crises.
Yeah, that's us. Always.
Yep. So then the third letter is your nature. This trait determines how we make decisions and cope with emotions. And so it's either T or F, and that is thinking or feeling. And I'm 68% feeling.
Ooh, mine is 54% thinking.
Do you see how I've gone up? Like I wasn't this much. I used to be on the
Yeah,
on the cusp,
and
and now I'm 68% feeling.
I used to be more thinking.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And then the fourth letter is tactics. This trait reflects our approach to work, planning, and decision making. So it's either J or P, and I am 63% prospecting, and J would have been judging. Are
I'm
you?
75%
Oh, wow.
prospecting.
Prospecting.
It's
So,
because of those big agrees.
yeah. So that reflects like your work ethic and stuff like that. So me and Andrea clearly have similar work ethics with the bursts of energy and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then, so those are the main four, and that's like your Myers Briggs personality type. But this website also does a third or a fifth letter, which is your identity. And this trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. And it's either A or T, and that's assertive or turbulent. So it just kind of, I think, reflects your self confidence.
Yeah.
So I am 60% assertive.
I am 71% assertive.
Wow. That makes sense. You're very confident.
I love me.
So if you go to
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses, you can just get some like quick results. So
Yeah.
INFP strengths are thoughtful, generous, open minded, creative, passionate, loyal to their values. And weaknesses are overly idealistic, self critical, impractical, emotionally driven, conflict averse, and difficult to get to know.
Oh my god.
Which makes sense for me. How about you, Andrea?
Mine says so mine is the ENTP debater. And strengths are knowledgeable, quick thinkers, original, excellent brainstormers, charismatic, energetic. Weaknesses very argumentative, insensitive, intolerant, can find it difficult to focus, and dislike practical matters.
Interesting. So yeah, if you want to get roasted, take this quiz, and I'm sure it'll take you shorter than us.
Oh,
We
yeah.
we love to get into the
We like to overanalyze every single question. Like,
yes,
we were nitpicking the structure of
yep.
the questions because we're like, if you asked it this way, then.
But yeah, this quiz is supposed to take you, I think, like 12 minutes or something.
Yeah, they said it was
So
supposed to take you like 15 minutes maybe, but
yeah, so feel
not
free
for
to take
us.
that. Let us know what you got if you agree with it or not. Um, on Instagram at the Mushroom Pod, or we have some links where um, you can leave like anonymous messages down below in the description of this episode. Uh, check out the merch that I have for the podcast with SQ Stitches. She has a great crochet shop. She's my friend. Love that girl. And just like last time, I'll pull a tarot card, which is what I've been doing in the end of the podcast episodes lately, which I think is a really fun thing to do. I've been into tarot card reading. Um, so here we go, shuffling. And then this card should apply to you whenever you listen to this podcast episode is when this card applies to you. So like either this day or this week, whenever you choose to listen is when this should be applied to you. So here we go. Ooh, the Knight of Swords.
Ooh.
Now let me Google this because I don't know all the meanings yet. The card was Knight of Swords, and because I pulled it upright, it means ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, and fast thinking. The Knight of Swords is on a mission. He has his mind set on something, nothing is stopping him. He actively uses his power of his intellect to achieve his goals. It's a sign that you are highly driven, ambitious, and action oriented. You are so highly motivated to succeed that you will stop at nothing to pursue your dreams. The challenges, difficulties, and obstacles on the path ahead don't faze you because you know where you want to go. Move forward with sheer strength and determination to make things happen. So, this looks like a good card, you know?
It is.
Go forward
And conquer.
yeah, make things happen. Like it seems like whatever you're thinking of recently or today, it seems like a good time to just go ahead and go forward with it.
Just do it.
The downside of the fast thinking, quick
Oh
acting
no.
Knight of Swords is that sometimes you act too quickly and haven't thoroughly thought things through. You may be unaware of potential challenges and issues that will stand in your way, or the unintended consequences of your actions. You may be prone to rushing things or cutting corners to get a job done. Or you may pursue a specific goal thinking it is what you want, but later realize it's out of alignment or a dead end. Sometimes a little planning and preparation can go a long way.
Are they roasting us? After we took the personality test?
And we're like,
They're
yeah, we
like,
don't like
you
to
guys,
make schedules.
yeah. They're like, you guys are smart and you're quick witted and you're ambitious and you have drive for things. But a little planning and preparation would help.
I mean, okay. I mean, okay, it's kind of a compliment, you know? We're
It is.
intellectual, we go for what we want, but we gotta maybe slow down, think things
Slow
through,
down or do.
or do.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you know, whatever sounds best to you today. Take that advice. And yeah, Andrea, do you have any recommendations for this podcast episode?
So I was recently on a podcast for my work.
Oh yes.
They're yeah, they're just promoting Dino Ranch, and so me and my coworkers are on. If you wanted to take a listen, it's Ink and Paint Girls podcast.
Okay, yes, and I'll leave a link in the description um, if you want to listen to that. So yeah, it was a good listen. I listened to the whole thing. Andrea's really cute and talks about her job and stuff. So if you're into like animation and kids shows, or you just want to listen to like a badass woman in a career take charge and go for it like the Knight of Swords, then listen to that podcast episode.
Thank you.
And yeah, that should be it. Rate and subscribe to the podcast. Please leave a review. That helps out with the podcast growth. Please very much. Please and thank you very much once you do it. And yeah, I think I already said you can follow the podcast on Instagram at the Mushroom Pod. And that's like where I usually keep updates and stuff on new episodes. As you probably know, I don't have like a strict schedule, so if you want to know when a new episode is coming, follow on Instagram. Have a great day, and good luck with everything you're doing, and we'll see you next time in the mushroom.